Hi, and welcome to the latest Ancient Egypt news from the fourth week of August. The Minister of Tourism and Antiquities recently inspected the site of Taposiris Magna, an archaeological site on the northern coast, following up on the work of the Egyptian Dominican delegation. For the tour, the minister was accompanied by Dr. Hisham El-Leithi, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, the SCA, Mohammed Abdelbadi, Head of the Egyptian Antiquities Sector at the SCA, Mr. Ehab Fahmy, Director of the Project of Submerged Antiquities for the delegation, and Mohammed Nabil Mohammed Rizik, Director of the Foreign Delegations and Head of the Egyptian team, and Mr. Amir Wahid El-Din, the archaeologist in the Alexandria Antiquities area. During the tour, the minister listened to a presentation by Dr. Kathleen Martinez about the history of the site and the most prominent results of the delegation's work over more than 20 years, which included excavation, preservation, restoration and scientific studies, and contributed to shedding more light on the historical and religious importance of the site during the Byzantine and Roman eras. The delegation also reviewed the work carried out during the current season, which includes the restoration and reinforcement of the gates and walls surrounding the Taposiris Magna temple, as part of a comprehensive project to preserve the site and protect its architectural elements. The minister directed the study of preparing an integrated project to develop the site and improve the efficiency of services and infrastructure in line with its historical and archaeological value in preparation for opening it to the public. The minister praised the efforts of the Egyptian Dominican mission, which have contributed to enhancing knowledge of the site's history and of its importance. The Taposiris Magna site is located about 45 kilometers west of Alexandria and was an important religious and commercial center during the Byzantine and Roman eras. The mission's work revealed a number of architectural elements and archaeological remains, including the remains of buildings and temples, inscriptions and votive tablets, as well as a tomb with a number of sarcophagi, providing important information about the funeral practices during the period. The mission also revealed a complex of tunnels, in addition to archaeological evidence buried in the coastal area, including submerged buildings and a mummified body. Conservation specialists at the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir, Cairo, have completed restoration work on a black basalt stele of King Rameses II from the New Kingdom. The piece has been on display in the museum for more than 100 years. Hisham El-Leithi from the SCA said the work forms part of a wider plan to redesign how the museum presents its holdings. He said pieces are being rearranged to reflect their proper historical, cultural and religious context, matching modern approaches to museum display. El-Leithi also said the stele measures 240 centimeters in length and is 110 centimeters wide. He noted it was originally discovered in two separate pieces and had previously been joined together and restored. Ali Abdel Halim, General Director of the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir, said the stele was relocated as part of the new display plan and now stands between two other stele depicting Rameses II. He said conservators removed old restoration materials and a wooden support that had been placed around the piece during earlier work. The seams between its sections were treated and it was displayed freestanding with panoramic lighting added to highlight its details. Abdel Halim said restoration of the Rameses II basalt stele was carried out by specialists from the SCA following established scientific protocols and technical standards. He rejected claims spreading on social media that cement had been used in the process, saying that no cement was used at any stage. He added that photographs circulating online were taken while restoration was still underway, not after its completion, and do not show the stele's finished condition. Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, through the SCA, said it continues routine restoration and maintenance work across the country's museums to preserve artefacts and keep them on view for visitors following current scientific and museum standards. A collection of 48 Egyptian cultural artefacts was handed over to Egyptian government representatives during a repatriation ceremony held by the FBI in Los Angeles on Friday. An investigation by the FBI's art crime team determined that all artefacts had been illicitly trafficked from Egypt. The items, which included carved figures, amulets, and funerary equipment, date from the Pharaonic, Roman, and Coptic periods. The FBI said the original suspected trafficker is now dead. The artefacts were returned after their most recent possessor contacted the FBI following research that raised questions about how the items had entered the United States. An analysis found no record showing that the artefacts had been lawfully removed from Egypt. Ambassador Hossam Eldin Ali, Consul General of Egypt in Los Angeles, thanked the US government for returning the artefacts. These handed-over artefacts represent an integral part of the history and cultural heritage of Egypt and its people, and we are very glad and honoured to bring these home, he was quoted as saying. The repatriation comes under a 2016 cultural property agreement between Egypt and the United States that restricts the import into the US of certain archaeological and ethnological materials from Egypt. The agreement provides a framework for cooperation between the two countries to identify, intercept, and return trafficked cultural property, while facilitating lawful exchange for cultural, educational, and scientific purposes, according to the FBI. Egypt has stepped up efforts to recover antiquities illegally removed from the country, working with foreign governments, law enforcement agencies, and international organizations to secure their return. It established the National Committee for the Repatriation of Stolen and Smuggled Antiquities in 2008, with the committee later reconvened in 2016 after a 6-year hiatus to develop a strategy for recovering artifacts taken illegally out of Egypt. The committee brings together representatives from the Ministries of Tourism and Antiquities, Foreign Affairs and Justice, as well as the public prosecution and other relevant authorities. Egypt has since recovered thousands of artifacts from several countries, including the United States, France, Spain, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Australia. In 2024, authorities said that around 30,000 artifacts have been repatriated from various countries since 2011, while more recent recoveries have continued through cooperation between Egyptian authorities and their international counterparts. US law enforcement agencies have returned more than 5,000 cultural artifacts to Egypt over the past decade. The FBI said some cases result in prosecutions, while in others the statute of limitations has expired. Regardless, recovered objects are returned to their country of origin. The CEO of the Grand Egyptian Museum Authority, Ahmed Ghanim, confirmed that the museum will close to visitors on September the 2nd. He explained that the reasons for the closure will be announced later. The Egyptian Travel Agents Associations notified tourism companies of the decision. The closure is limited to 1 day, with no announcement of an indefinite closure or a general suspension of visits. The ETAA instructed tourism companies to take the closing time into account when preparing tour programs and arranging visit bookings, and to inform tourists of the specified times in advance, ensuring their itineraries do not conflict with the closure decision. This comes as part of efforts to regulate visitor traffic at the GEM while emphasising tourism company commitments to the specified closing time. And that's it for this week. This news podcast is brought to you by Ted Laux and GNT Tours. Ancient Egypt News is rated in the top 5 Egypt history podcasts, according to feedspot.com, as well as featuring in the top 60 African news podcasts by millionpodcast.com. For the next tour dates, check out our website, gnttours.com. Follow us on social media. Thanks for listening to this episode. Please feel free to comment and share. Until next time, thanks again. Cheers. Bye-bye.